Welcome back. Professor Chris Bode is the Chief Medical Director of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital. There are some people who are asking questions. Bayo Shekumade says, was the doctor's suspension declared illegal in the court of law?
The doctor's suspension is not an issue here now. The court of law ruled on about 4 different things. The judge said because his case had been in front of the court while he was suspended for another thing, that the suspension should be lifted. So that was lifted. But he had other prayers, which they had not mentioned, which I'm happy you're asking me. Let me explain. He prayed the court to declare the warning we gave him, letter of warning the hospital gave him for picketing a hospital. The court declined, actually warning him that he was lucky his appointment was not terminated at that time, that he could have been dismissed on that ground alone. He didn't say that to his colleagues. So maybe I should mention that now. He also had another prayer. He had checked into a psychiatric hospital. This doctor had checked into a psychiatric hospital for 3 weeks. And he didn't present a sick leave for more than 48 hours as required by law. The hospital queried him on that when he came back. And he promptly went to bring some sick leave from somewhere. And we said, if you've been in a psychiatric hospital, we needed to know your state of health. And he declined. He also asked the court to tell us that the hospital did not have the power to ask after his health. The court also told him that, no, your employers have the right to inquire after your health. That was why he finally faced this medical board. We should have done it a long time ago, but he refused. So these are some of the things that he didn't say to his colleagues, or even if he did, they didn't want to mention.
Okay, there are quite a number of issues appearing rising from LUTH. One of them says, Adebomi says, that you stopped the extension of the program of those that passed part 2 of the examination.
I don't even understand what that means. I don't understand what that means. If you finish, the residency program is a conveyor belt. You spend a long time on it, but you finish and go. If you don't finish, you still go. And as you are moving, you create space for other prospective trainees to come in.
So there's no room for extension.
When we now bring in some people, this generation of residents they see it as a career, lifetime career. They call it residency forever. They spend they agitated this way and got it extended to up to 9 years. What people do for 5, 6 years in other climes. So, but since Nigeria is the one paying and they are the ones just collecting the money, they don't want to go. They use any excuse to. So the earlier somebody finishes, the better others can come in. And I will say the prerogative is there for the hospital to say, yes, we can extend you, or we don't want to. As much as possible, we don't like people to spend too long on that conveyor belt. So others who are waiting outside can come in and be useful in the system too.
So it wasn't your decision not to extend?
It is a prerogative of the hospital management. It's not... if the not of the CMD, the hospital management will sit and consider it. So it's possible the top management does that.
So it's possible the CMD could say extend, and the rest of the board in voting
of course,
says no.
Yes. It's not. Actually, it's a collective decision. It's not a CMD. What's my? I'm a little member of that panel, of that group. It's top management that takes that decision.
So, what do you think of this notion that says everything rises and falls on leadership? So if you agree with that notion, then the situation in LUTH should rise and fall on your shoulders.
Another perspective. The buck stops in front of my desk. I agree on that. And it's the perspective that is being created that we need to change here. If 40 persons are dancing every day in front of the television and that's the projection to the outside, what of the 3,000 people who are working every day, who deserve our songs of praises? We need to commend them. Will I interest you by saying we did over 800 surgeries between April and May this year? Some people were doing that, using their own resources to make things work. Okay. What of 3 women delivered just last week in LUTH through IVF? One had a set of triplets, one had a set of twins, one had a set of just one single baby. It's working. LUTH is working.
LUTH is working.
Their projection, it's what they want people to believe that we want to correct. That's why we are on your program. To let people know that we are working for the 10th month without going on strike.
Okay.
That has not happened in almost 10 years.
About remuneration here.
Yes.
The senior registrars in LUTH are said to be paid differently from their counterparts in Igbobi and the FMC Butemeta. Is that true?
It is not true. I will tell you what. Payment of doctors, of every worker in the federal institution, is based on a template created from the budget office. With their paid based on their grade level, and if I or a management should pay somebody or deduct money from somebody's account, what would they do with it and use it for something else? That would be called virement. It's a federal offense. That person who does that will be in jail. So if they think anybody has deducted a penny from their account illegally, they should either go to the FCC or go to court. So it's totally false. So we compared, when I first heard of that allegation, I asked for the pay slips of doctors in LUTH, in UCH, in Ife, in Ilorin, and I compared them. And it's completely comparable.
Comparable. Even to those in Lagos as well.
Of course. How can we change somebody's salary and that person will not be in court? Is that possible, sir?
Okay, the other side of it is, do you think the resident doctors have any form of credibility in their complaints about lack of or under-maintained facilities?
I would say it will be